I love building things in Laravel, but if you're looking for a job or just starting out, should Laravel be the first thing you learn? It seems like most other jobs are recommending you learn something like JavaScript, Python, Java. Well, that might be the case right now, but will that be the case in the future? I came across this article a couple weeks back from Justin Jackson. Justin Jackson can be found at justinjackson.ca. Justin Jackson co-founded Transistor.fm, the host of this podcast, or at least the podcast platform host of this podcast. You can find Justin's blog on justinjackson.ca, as well as on all the socials like x/Twitter, MIJustin as well. This article is entitled The Pipeline Problem. Here's a story about how Laravel/Rails might fix the pipeline problem by hiring new grads to build the awesome tools we've always wanted. Here's what happened. The pipeline problem. A while back, I tweeted about how Rails and Laravel have a pipeline problem. Young devs aren't learning Laravel/Rails in bootcamps or college. They're learning JavaScript, React, and Next.js instead. This creates a cycle. We want experienced devs, but aren't cultivating new talent. On the Mega Maker Slack, people mentioned another challenge for young developers. Even senior developers are having difficulty getting work in this economy. It's even harder for a junior developer to get hired, which means they're not getting the experience they need to start their careers. Enter Ferdinand. I met Ferdinand at a hack night where he showed me a bot he'd built for Discord that could synthesize my voice using AI. Ferdinand graduated with his comp sci degree last June. He had done dozens of interviews, but nobody was hiring. I knew that without experience, it would be difficult for him to get that first gig. This gave me an idea. Using my own money, I would hire Ferdinand for the summer to build me a Laravel app I've wanted for a while. The aim was to get him to experience building a fully functional SaaS app with Stripe billing using Laravel, Alpine, Livewire, and Tailwind. The SwagFan project. At Transistor, we found that giving away free shirts and hats is a great way to promote our brand. When folks receive something from us, they share pictures on social media. These posts provide Transistor with great PR, social proof, testimonials, and goodwill. We've been using Printful to create merch and handle shipping and fulfillment. However, Printful doesn't offer a way to give away swag or run a storefront. I wanted an app where I could send people a link, let them choose their swag, select their size, enter their shipping details, and have Printful handle the rest. So the web app I hired Ferdinand to build me was a tool to simplify the process of giving away branded swag. We called it SwagFan. Here's the crazy part. Ferdinand had never built a project in Laravel before and completed most of it in 6 weeks. A few days ago, I did a quick demo on a live stream. Here's how it works. You connect your Printful store. You create a swag giveaway link. You choose which products you want to offer. You share the link with fans and customers. They pick their items, sizes, shipping info. Printful handles printing and shipping automatically. I'm excited for this for a few reasons. It solves a problem we had at Transistor. 2, it gave Ferdinand awesome real-world dev experience. And 3, it demonstrates Laravel's strengths for building SaaS apps quickly. What's next? We plan to launch it publicly in the next few weeks. I want Ferdinand to experience the entire cycle of conceptualizing, building, and shipping a functional SaaS. It will be invaluable to him as a dev and give him a taste of what it's like to be an indie hacker. It'll be $99 a year for early access users. What do you think? I'm curious what you think about the Laravel and Rails pipeline problem, and if hiring juniors for projects like this might be a good solution. Want to be one of our first users? Sign up here for a 14-day free trial. That's app.swagfan.com/register. We already have 2 people signed up, and Ferdinand is stoked. Cheers. P.S. Ferdinand is now looking for his first full-time tech job. I can personally vouch for him. He's a fast learner, works independently, and quickly grasps web app concepts. If you're interested in offering him a full-time position, good bosses only, check out his resume. Justin's tweet thread, which kind of kick-started this whole conversation of Laravel's pipeline problem. The data from Tobias Petrie's State of Laravel survey came back and confirmed something that Justin had previously observed. Laravel has a pipeline problem. Young devs aren't learning Laravel in boot camps or college. They're learning JavaScript, React, Next.js, etc. So what are some creative ways to fix this? Well, Justin said, my hunch is that there's actually a lot of latent demand for PHP jobs that people don't see. Millions of businesses depend on PHP. Many actively use or want to switch to Laravel. I wonder if this is more of an issue of brand awareness. React gets more PR than Laravel. and agreed with the fact that lowering the entry from local development to deploying something in the internet is one part, and the one that we're trying to solve with Herd, what Laravel does with Cloud soon. So, does Laravel have a pipeline problem? What's my experience? It kind of does, because it's dependent on what people are expecting, what the market is expecting. Again, I've kind of talked about it on this podcast and this series before. I never have had a full-time engineering job. I started in customer support and did more technical support, where I had the opportunity to learn more JavaScript, to be like, hey, here's some, quick hacky things that you can do, and you can kind of embed a script into your page. So it wasn't necessarily an engineering role. It was just, here's some things that I could build, or maybe I could build internal tools while learning JavaScript. And eventually I learned to Next.js and Firebase and Supabase and all that thing before I even took the time to switch to something like Laravel, because I experimented with different full stack solutions. There was a lot of pieces in building a project for me, a SaaS project for me, that it took a while to come to fruition. I didn't want to spend days worrying about hooking up my database and then my auth and, getting billing and all of that put into place. And so, yes, does it have a pipeline problem? Yes, because people like what they see. And I think PHP is one of those things that probably holds Laravel back in a lot of ways, just because of the nature of that. I think that eventually is changing. That's one of my personal goals, to want to change that. But I think a lot of the things that we see when it comes to what the economy, what the building of things in the world is looking at, is you have this idea that I need to build this because someone else used this to build that. And so it doesn't really come down to, can it build it fast? People deciding that higher up don't really care about that. The people deciding it higher up care about, okay, my VC person kind of talked to me and they were using Next.js or Java, for example, in an enterprise system. And that's when, okay, well, why don't I just hire developers to build it in that? And these problems start from higher up and then kind of go down. So I think it's kind of twofold. And one of my responses to Justin in that initial tweet thread was, it's twofold. It's the people who are deciding what kind of tech stacks they're having for their projects. And a lot of them, maybe if they're kind of in the antiquated enterprise world, are starting with something like Java, where some of like the newer solutions would be more, hey, we're just going to use the bleeding edge technology of Next.js and Drizzle and all of those kind of buzzwords for creating an application. But it's also on the other side of, no one in boot camps learns PHP anymore. They're going to learn the technologies that are either cutting edge or that there is a ton of jobs in, like a Java or a C# or, MERN stack, for example. And I like the solution that Justin here is offering. Hire people to build something that you are wanting to build. Maybe you have some kind of disposable money, or disposable income, but you having a great idea, but you don't have the time to do it. And that's a great option of saying, okay, I have this idea. I'm just going to maybe hire, or maybe even, do whatever I can to bring someone else on to help me build out this idea, because it does twofold. It helps you get your idea out onto paper, and it also helps someone both learn Laravel and also increase that pipeline of saying, okay, now there's this more people just building these applications within Laravel. And I think the second pipeline problem is just learning things. I think regardless of where you're at or your job, or what you program at or your job, the more you on your side show that your company, your employers show, hey, I'm learning something outside and I'm learning this. Look at how I built this in one night this week. I built this project and it's a fully functioning application, and I built it in Laravel. Well, maybe then you'll eventually have a opportunity at your job for an internal tool. And you can be like, oh, you can choose whatever you want to build. And yeah, I'll build it in Laravel. All of a sudden, that pipeline starts to increase, because not only awareness, but there's also that kind of hard-coded value into it. This only took a couple of days, or this person just learned it and built it all himself. We didn't have to dedicate 3 or 4 engineers from one team to build this internal tool. So yes, it does come from the top up, and maybe you're not someone who can make those decisions of, okay, this company is going to use Laravel for the next project, or even Rails, for example. But I also think it starts from within too. Finding something to build, to learn, that maybe benefits you as a person, as an individual, as a contributor to your team, but maybe also benefits your company too. There's a lot of times when it's like, hey, we need this internal tool built, or we need this thing automated, and maybe build it in Laravel next. Instead of, it might not be the solution that your company is expecting you to use. It might not be the solution that you even know just yet, but maybe that will be the big push to help that there is other options out there when it comes to building full stack solutions, of saying, I have this idea. I want to go from 0 to complete in a night, a couple weeknights, a weekend, in this case, 6 weeks, not having to learn Laravel and not even using, inertia. They used Livewire and Alpine, and in 6 weeks had a functioning MVP up and running. It's one of the reasons why I love Laravel. It's one of the reasons why I switched to Laravel, is that speed of getting something in my head out on paper. And maybe you have the opportunity to do that. Maybe even not for your company, but just for you. So keep building, keep creating.